What's up, everyone? Welcome to Power Play with CJ. Today I want to focus in on what moves the Boston Bruins can make with the deadline coming up. I know I've been tweeting about Marty St. Louis and the Bruins, and someone that splits that time between Tampa and Boston. I always did have Marty on one of my teams, so I guess the Bruins would be a good fit for him. But I hope they don't trade him, and I don't think the Bruins would bother giving up Riley Smith, Spooner, and more than that for Marty. But going a step further, they need a defenseman. They need that guy to fill Dennis Seidenberg's role. Not be Dennis Seidenberg, but much minutes beside Chara so the younger kids can play in more effective situations. And now if you think I'm talking out of my ass, look at it this way. Drew Doughty got to play 30 minutes a night, right, in Los Angeles. He isn't as effective offensively because he has to go up against the top lines every night and be a physical presence. You look at what he did for Team Canada when his role was to be, the rover, the power play quarterback, the offensive guru, what have you. I think, you got to see his full offensive skills at display. I'm not saying Torrey Krug and Dougie Hamilton are Drew Doughty, not by any means. But if you bring in another veteran presence to eat some of the more defensive minutes, Krug and those guys can be more effective offensively. That's just my 2 cents on the matter. Now, in terms of who they go out and get, I think McDonald would be a great fit, and I think the biggest thing with McDonald is he's making $500,000, so you're not going to move any salary to bring him in, which is big. You don't have to worry about waiving someone or throwing in a contract. You can, keep your team intact, and he might come a little hefty. Maybe a second and a third, supposedly a first. But the Bruins don't have forever to win it. They have a good core. But, this whole let's think about the future thing, the future is now. And I know they've already won a cup, and I'm grateful for the 2011 run. But, you want to always be in contention, but you also, there's no guarantee for tomorrow. And if you can make a move now that can solidify your status as a legitimate threat to win the cup, you got to do it. Now, in terms of other defensemen on the market, a homecoming for Keith Yandle would be awesome. I want it. But from a hockey sense, I'm not totally sure how it fits. Him and Seidenberg are two different players now. Obviously, with the cap and everything, you'd have to move something else with Yandle. I think Yandle would be more effective in like a Torrey Krug type role. Not comparing them as players, but in that role. So I don't think that's going to happen. I think Philly's going to end up with Yandle at the end of the day, to be completely honest with you, whether it's this year, next year at the draft, what have you. Actually, that could be the move they make at the draft, is going out and getting Keith Yandle, because it's going to be in Philly. But, I'd really like to see that complementary piece that can, help them out. John Michael Lyles is out there. Is he? No. I mean, I think you can get him. I just don't think he's, capable of filling in all those minutes. But I mean, you never know. I mean, Lyles is a veteran guy. Maybe the St. Louis Blues move Jordan Leopold, but I don't think that's happening. They are built around their depth on defense, so that's not gonna happen. But it's one of those things you're gonna keep an eye on going forward. I mean, maybe the Bruins make a move for Dmitry Kulikov from Florida. He's out there. He's a very young player. He's still got a lot of upside. I don't like just throwing that word around, but he definitely does. It's just a bad situation in Florida, to say the least. I don't want to see them going after Ehrhoff. I don't think Buffalo would trade him in the division, for one. Chris Phillips, maybe, but he's a little bit older. But then again, Chara's a little bit older as well. But if they can go out and get a McDonald type, that'd be effective. And maybe a depth forward. But I like their top six where they are. I know they lost to Buffalo the other night, but Buffalo plays them tough every time they play each other. And it was like the Florida Panthers were like that for a long time with the Bruins, where the Bruins would be a perennial playoff team and Florida would suck, but they beat them 3 out of 4 times. So is what it is. But anyway, that's all this episode of the Power Play with CJ. Stay tuned for episodes throughout the deadline and beyond. Later, guys.